This is Beyond a Reasonable Doubt with your hosts, Mark Garrigus and Gary Smith.
I want you to know that you're looking right now, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, you're looking at Gary, who's looking very serious. You're looking at Alexandra, who's doing her makeup, and you're looking at me, who's watching the two of them saying, this is our trial team right now. And we apparently are so busy and we're so deep, not only in our trial, but in trying to free the Menendez brothers and about 55 other things that we have to multitask. And is that a fair statement, gang?
That is very fair. And it's not so much serious as it's exhaustion. I'm just, we're juggling so many things that here we are recording.
Yeah.
From my point of view, we might as well be raising like quadruplets together because that's the amount of free time that we have right now.
And Alexandra is joining us for a number of things, not the least of which to make sure that she keeps Gary, and mostly me, not Gary, on the straight and narrow, or at least as straight and narrow as we can. She, as I think we mentioned last week, we're in the middle of a murder trial, literally in the middle of closing argument. And we should probably give just a little bit of a description of this. The client is a security guard, a white security guard. The decedent, who was the subject of the case, was a black young man, and who was shot by the security guard in a Walgreens 6 years ago. The case is being attended daily by a courtroom of a couple of people for the client, but mostly Black Lives Matter attendees who believe, at least some of them, that it's an interactive experience where they can heckle me as I cross-examine, which never goes over well. Would you say the least, Kate?
No, it did not go over well, and you dispensed with that very quickly when it did happen.
I mean, it went over well as far as the entertainment value for me is concerned, but as far as I think what they were trying to accomplish and the bounds of courtroom decorum, it did not go well for them.
So we moved for a mistrial this past week because in the closing argument, the young man who is the DA described in only what I can imagine would be the most, how should I say this? He cherry-picked a couple of sentences by the client in his interview with the cops, our client, who said it was two African-American males who were stealing in the Walgreens. And then he also went through to describe what he thought was about to be a robbery taking place. And then as he tried to usher out the security guard tried to usher out the man who ultimately was shot. He put his hand on him to usher him out. The gentleman, Mr. Hart, slugged our client in the face, breaking skin, knocking glasses off. Our client almost instantaneously pulled out his weapon and shot Mr. Hart back through the top of his one shot and killed him. And the Black Lives Matter, when I objected on Thursday to the DA saying that the description of my client looking like a hunter standing over his prey, that I objected that was a racial trope and a racial stereotype, which is a violation, by the way, of the Racial Justice Act, which was denied by His Honor. The Black Lives Matter, I think they tweeted it, did they not, Gary?
Almost instantaneously in the moment. It seems like as it was happening, someone maybe stepped out into an area where you're allowed to use your phone and tweeted it from the Black Lives Matter Los Angeles Twitter account.
Yeah, saying that apparently being a millionaire is something that is anti-Black Lives Matter. or anathema, Garrigus invokes reverse racism on the Racial Justice Act. By the way, the Racial Justice Act, if applied equally, should be invoked anytime there is a violation of racial stereotypes or racial tropes. So
I thought it was nice that they tagged your account, though, so it was very easy for you to find. You know, it was at
millionaire,
millionaire at Mark Garrigus, you know.
Yeah. Anyway, it's upside down world in this trial, and that's why we have Alexandra here also, because the theme this week, other than our trial, as we're entering the final home stretch, literally the home stretch of the presidential campaign, I think there is a theme by Donald Trump. Would you agree, Gary?
Well, I was not aware of this theme. The two of you developed this theory and have delivered it to me, but there certainly does seem to be.
Yes. So Alexandra and I have developed this theory completely separate and apart from Trump. But then Trump apparently has heard about our theory. And why don't you curate it, Gary?
Okay, well, I think first,
before you get to the definition.
Yeah, no. We'll start with the Al Smith dinner, because that really kind of blew up the internet a few nights ago. And if this is not classic Trump, generally at the Al Smith dinner, candidates will appear and there are some self-deprecating jokes told. But Trump didn't follow the formula, I would say.
There's a group called White Dudes for Harris. Have you seen this? White Dudes for Harris. Anybody know? Are some of you here? White Dudes for Harris doesn't sound like it. But I'm not worried about them at all, because their wives and their wives' lovers are all voting for me. Every one of those people is voting for me.
Now, the definition of the wives and the wives' lovers, that would then make, by definition, do you know what that word is, Gary, of the White Dudes for Harris?
Oh, that would be cucks.
Or the traditional, for guys like me, a cuckold.
Oh, sure. I mean,
he shortened it.
The internet has shortened it, but yes, a cuckold. Yes.
These days are shortening the words, Mark.
That was earlier in the week. And there was another interview in which,
well, we'll get to that in a second, but let's go to the rally where he a little bit. Is that okay with you, Mark?
Absolutely.
I just feel like we need to save the best for last. So this is Trump at a rally in Pennsylvania, and he goes a little bit, I assume, off topic, but maybe the whole rally was about this. We'll see.
But Arnold Palmer was all man, and I say that in all due respect to women, and I love women. But this is a guy that was all man. This man was strong and tough. And I refuse to say it, but when he took showers with the other pros, they came out of there, they said, oh, my God, that's unbelievable. I had to say it. We have women that are highly sophisticated here, but they used to look at Arnold as a bad. But he was really something special.
Did you have to say it? I would argue you didn't have to say it.
By the way, did you see the woman behind Trump?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So he's, for those who can't quite make the connection, he's talking about not Arnold Palmer's gut. He's talking about an appendage, which apparently is well endowed. And then we had an interview with Trump this past week.
Yes.
In which he's talking about, in context, I want it in context, he's talking about how Democrats take care of their own.
Correct. And this is from I believe it's pronounced Dan Bongino show. And
correct. Supposed Secret Service agent.
Correct. And now right-wing influencer, I would say, you could easily categorize him as.
But Democrats don't have to be honest. They really don't have to be honest, because they will never be accused of anything. It's interesting. I was so amazed that Harvey Weinstein got schlonged. He got hit as hard as you can get hit, because he was sort of the king of the woke, right? Yeah. And yet he got hit. And I figured that maybe he wouldn't get hit so hard. But boy, did he get, you don't know him well. I don't know him well. But I watched that, and it was amazing. So when they do get hit, they get hit. but that's the only one I can think of. Normally, they protect everybody. What they did with Adams, I think, is very suspect.
I heard you bring that up last night.
Well,
So schlonged.
Schlonged. Now, schlonged. I sent you the definition of schlonged because...
Well, let's let him define it first, and then we'll get to the definition that you sent me. Because if I can find it here, yes, because he has also used this term to refer to Hillary Clinton losing an election back in 2008, and that was then surfaced later when they were running against each other. And he tweeted in defense of himself. It says, let's see here. It says, when I said that Hillary Clinton got schlonged by Obama, it meant got beaten badly. The media knows this. Often word used in politics, ! Okay, so that's how he's trying to define it. But then Mark went searching on the internet, and Mark found an alternate definition. And here it is. And Mark, I'm going to go ahead and let you do the subtitling on this one, because I don't need a clip of me saying this on the internet.
Schlonged, to be cock-slapped by a man with a large penis. Shit, that teenage mom just got schlonged by that hobo.
Well, now I have a new ringtone.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this brings us full circle to Alexandra talking about the idea of what?
Time for me to go. Hi, Mark. You're on Reasonable Doubt podcast.
You're on Reasonable Doubt right now. Where might you two ladies be going tonight?
Avra.
Oh,
For my birthday.
Happy birthday. Are you getting the stack on the
Oh yeah, the average chips, absolutely.
Average chips, okay.
Why don't you come?
Well,
you're inviting the entire world right now on the podcast. Everybody come.
Yes.
Well, it was last night for those who are listening to the podcast, so they can't show up and crash the party. Only Mark or I could.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, Gary and I are doing a little work in preparation for finishing up on Monday in the closing argument. Alexandra, thank you for joining us while getting ready. And please come back next week, Alex.
You got it. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Reasonable Doubt. Subscribe on YouTube at youtube.com/Reasonable Doubt Podcast.